Now, Jayashree, is it
Yes, sir.
okay?
Visible, sir.
Okay. See, so today we will discuss the cluster analysis. It is in your fourth unit of your syllabus. So we know different variety of clustering algorithm that are available, and we learn that types of the clustering, the categorization of major clustering methods, and these are the partition methods, hierarchical method, density based method, grid based methods, model based clustering, high dimensional data, constraint based clustering, and outlier analysis. These many things we'll discuss. Okay, before that we need to know types of data in cluster analysis, because whatever clustering you will do, it is completely dependent upon the types of data that you are going to cluster. So before understanding the clustering and types of clustering, how we will do the clustering, first we need to understand the types of data, nature of the data, so that we can apply the suitable clustering algorithms, and what are the different methods for clustering, then it will be easy to apply. So before before starting the clustering, we will discuss this one. So types of data in cluster analysis. So there are six types of data that we will discuss in the clustering analysis. So first one is the numerical data. Actually, this contains two types of data. Numerical data, it will contain the interval scaled variables, interval scaled and ratio scaled. So two, after that we have the binary data, and in binary data further classified into the, it is further classified into the symmetric and in asymmetric binary data. Binary data means which is having the value 0 or 1, or in terms of yes or no. And next one is the nominal data, ordinal data, and variable of mixed data types. So we have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types of six variety of data. Okay, so next one by one we will understand how it will help to understand the clustering. So whatever clustering techniques that you are going to apply here, the clustering method that we are going to discuss, it is based, it will follow some data structures. It will use some data structures here for storing the data. So first and foremost, we will understand the types of data structure that are widely used in the cluster analysis. So this will tell how to perform the cluster analysis, and how to pre-process them for such analysis. So mainly two types of data structure we follow here in clustering. You can see here, main memory based clustering algorithm typically operate on either of the following two data structures. Main memory based clustering means the clustering will be done in the main memory itself. If the data is very large size, a disk resident clustering also we can do, means we can keep the data over the disk. But here what we are doing, our all the data will be in the main memory. So main memory based clustering algorithms. So for that we have two types of data structure in the cluster analysis. First one is the data matrix, and next one is the dissimilarity matrix. So data matrix means whatever data you are having, it will be stored in the form of rows and columns. So object by variable structure, object by variable structure, and dissimilarity means object by object structure. So two kinds of data structure we will use, and you can very much understand in this next slide here. So data matrix, how it is represented, you can see here we have n cross, we have the n cross p matrix here. N cross p means n number of rows. These are the rows, like row 1, row 2. So these are the different tuples, and these are nothing but columns. See, like you can write C1, this will be C2 like this, and it will come CP. So these are the columns, these are the rows. We can also say these represents to the attribute, and this is the particular instance. For simplicity and for understanding more, you can see this side. We have record 1, row 2. See, 150 records are there. You are very familiar with the Iris data sets. So in that, how many attributes we are having, like sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and this class labels we have. So these are the different attributes we have, and these are the rows, or these are the tuples. So your data, whatever you are watching here, it is in the form of this data matrix. So we can locate any of the data by knowing its index. Where is that? So if I want to locate x55, then I can say it will be here only 5 this side and 5 this side, where it will intersect, that will come. So we can locate each and every value in the data matrix. So like this. So for your understanding, I have taken this example. So this is the example of your data matrix. We can represent like this. So it is a n cross p. Here also it is mentioned. You can see that the structure is in the form of relational tables. This is a relational table, or n by p matrix. It is n by p matrix, means you have n objects and with p attributes, means p variable. N objects, p variables or p attributes. So the data matrix is often called a two-mode matrix. Why? Because we have two modes, one rows and one row, and this side column, this side rows. Okay, next one is the dissimilarity matrix. It is very important to know the dissimilarity between two objects. So here what we will do, in the matrix we will represent only the dissimilarity between the objects. So it is similar to this one, but here we were having the n cross p, that is the object by p variable, p attributes, but here we are having object by object. So this is store a collection of proximity. Proximity means nearness. That are available for all pair of n objects. It is often represented by n by n. Okay, table. So where dij is the measured difference or dissimilarity between the object I and object j. So what we will do, we are having object 1, we have the object 2, we can have object 3, like this we can have object n. We have object n, and here this side we can have same object 1, object 2, object 3, and that object we have n. So we have here object. So whatever number of object is here, the same will be here this side also. So now we will calculate the dissimilarity between the pair of object. So because it is two-dimensional, so you can see here, if I say object 1 and object, the distance between or dissimilarity between the object 1 and object from object 1 to object 1, so it will come to 0 only. It will come only 0, because both objects are similar. That's why dissimilarity is 0. So all diagonal will have the 0 value, because if I say object 2 to object 2, the distance is 0. So for object 3 also like this, in all diagonal will be 0. But if I say distance between the object 2 and object 1, definitely the value will vary between the 0 to one dissimilarity if I say in the percentage. So these are the representation of the differences, or you can say it is the dissimilarity. So we represent the dissimilarity matrix as you are able to see here. So in a one go, I can say which object is similar to another object based on the value we have obtained here. So like this, we can find out the dissimilarity. So here in general, Dij means distance between object I to object j is non-negative. Distance is we take the non-negative values. Okay, that is close to 0 when object I and j are higher similar. If 0 means they are similar, similar or near to each other. If it becomes larger, the more they differ. If the value is more, so the object I to object j dissimilarity will be more. Like this we can calculate, and you can see here if I say dij and dji, so it doesn't matter because we are getting the distance. So the distance will be the same, dissimilarity will be the same. If I say the distance between the Madnapalli to Angalu, so you can say, for example, you can say the distance between the Madnapalli to Angalu is 12. If I say the distance between Angalu to Madnapalli, then what will be the distance will be same. So that is why. So you measure from A to B location or B to A location, the distance will be C. That is the meaning of this one. Dij is equal to dji. The measurement you can see, you can calculate from any directions. Okay, from same object to same object, the distance will be 0. So already these things I discussed. So this is the dissimilarity matrix. So two types of data structure we use. One is the data matrix. Next one is the dissimilarity matrix in the clustering algorithms. Okay, now come to the types of data in cluster analysis. So numerical attributes, if I talk about the numerical variable or numerical data types, data or attributes, so they are the quantitative in measurement. Okay, it can be measurable, it is measurable, we can measure these values and represented by integer or real numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that we can measure, or in the decimal. So this is the numerical attributes are always quantitative, they are measurable and can be represented by integer or real numbers. So types of numerical attributes. We have interval scaled variables and ratio scaled variables. So two types of variables we have here, interval scaled and ratio scaled. So interval scaled is generally that we sometimes we find the distance from point A to point B. So that is a similar kind of things. Interval scaled variables are continuous measurements. Roughly they are in a linear scales, you can say one from, if I say 10 to 50, 10 to 100 or 10 to 10, like this scale is there. They are in continuous, in increasing order, you can say here. So examples are, we can say weight, height, they are the numerical values. They have the real numbers, latitude, longitude, coordinates, you can say. When clustering houses, we can use these longitude and latitude, weights and heights. This can be used to tell whether the person is women or they are the men. So we can, based on this data, we can cluster. And see here, it is measured. The interval scaled variables measured on the equal size units have an order. Okay, can be positive or negative. If I draw y-axis from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. This will be the positive direction, this will be the negative direction. Same thing in y direction also. So like this, have an order. Order means first it will come 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. This is the ordering you may be having. This side also in negative. Allow us to compare and quantify the difference between the values. It allows us to compare and quantify the difference between values. How? If I say the distance between this one, so 3 minus 2 I can find. 3 minus 2 means the distance is 1. So like this we can compare, quantify the differences between the values. The measurement, one issue is there. The measurement unit used can affect the clustering analysis. This is a very important point you need to understand. Whatever unit you are using, that will largely affect your clustering shape, the clustering, because if meters to inches, if you change the metrics measurement units from meters to inches for height and for weight, kilograms to pounds, so these changes will definitely affect the clustering. So this is also taken into care. It may lead to very different clustering structure. I told the shape may differ. In general, expressing a variable in smaller units will lead to a larger range of that variable, and thus a larger effect on the resulting clustering structure. To help avoid dependence on the choice of measurement unit, the data should be standardized. The data should be standardized. If you standardize the data, then there will be no effect of what kind of units you are using, because now it is independent of any unit like height, like meters, kilograms, liters, whatever unit you are using. Once you have standardized your data, then you will be free from this type of effect that will come in the clustering. So standardized measurement attempts to give all variables an equal weight. So the benefit of this standardization, it will give the equal importance to the all variables like height and weight. So next, in interval scaled variable, how standardization is done, you can say. But one thing also you need to know, sometimes what we do, standardization is not applicable in some cases, not in all cases. Sometimes what we do, for variable A, suppose we have variable A and variable B. I want to give more importance to A compared to B. So don't do any standardizations. Just you use the any unit that you want to give more importance to one variable. For example, here when clustering basketball player candidates, we may prefer to give more weight to the variable height. We can give more importance to the height variable, because the heighted persons will play very better than the short heighted. So like this, how you will do the standardization data. If this effect is not there, if it's not this case, then you can standardize the data to make the proper clustering. So for that, SF you can say here, this is nothing but the standard deviations we can find like this. This is MF means mean value you calculated for, and you have calculated the differences, you added, then you found the SF. And here the mean value you can calculate by adding these values. So how you are calculating this JD score? So you did this. How you did this? ZF means you are finding the JD score. How you are doing here? X any value, and this is the M. What is the MF? It is the mean value. You have whatever value you are having, you will make the difference between the mean value, and then you will find the standard deviation. You will divide by the standard deviation, then you will get the Z score. And this example we already have covered. We know in the normalization methods we have different type of normalization methods. The same topic we have discussed, so from that only we have taken the standardizations. So we are having the MF, we are having the MF means mean value, we have the standard deviations. Then what we can do, for any value we can get the Z value. So it will be free from any type of unit effect. So we can fix our value from some range from 0 to 1 or whatever. Next, similarity and dissimilarity measurements. Distances are normally used to measure the similarity or dissimilarity between two objects. So we have the dissimilarity measurement, some formula we have, some popular distance. Generally we take the difference to make the similarity and dissimilarity predictions. So this is a Minkowski distance formula is there. This is the generalized. This is the generalized formula for all kind of distance formula is there, and this is also known as the normal form. You need to know. You need to know what is the meaning of this one. So general formula is this one. This is the general formula. From this all formula are derived. See what is that? If I am having x point x minus y to the power p and whole to the power 1 by p. If I replace 1 at in with p with 1, if I put 1 here and here also 1, then your formula will be converted into this format. You can see here d similarity between x and y, x minus y. So what we did, 1 by 1 means it will come 1, and here p is 1. So this is called the Manhattan distance. This Manhattan distance, or we can also say it is a L1 form. So just simply what we'll do, we will take the difference only, absolute difference. Absolute difference means because we are having this mode, so we can find the absolute difference here to take to measure the dissimilarity. And next, very popular in 8th, 9th, 10th standards, we have seen this formula, the Euclidean distance formula. So what is Euclidean distance formula? If you keep 2 in place of p, then you will derive this formula, because if you are having 2 here and you are having 2 here, then you can see here very easily xi minus yj to the power 2 and 1 by 2, or you can say it, you can place the 1 by 2 means root, so square root. So you can find the dissimilarity using these many formulas. So whether you use this one or this one, this depends upon the type of clustering and based on your situation or type of data, what is the variety of data is there. So you can use any formula for measuring the dissimilarity. So in the previous dissimilarity matrix that you are watching here, D21, D31, D32, whatever is this. So here nothing but using this type of formula we put the values, we replace these values, so we can fill the value of dissimilarity from one object to another. Okay, so you understood this example. First we are using the Manhattan distance, if we are using, and we have the point x1 and x2. So this x1 and x2 is there. If you want to find the distance dissimilarity between these two objects, so we can use these two formula. So what is the formula? We will take this value to this formula is there. So for that we have the point 1 means difference from x1 to x2. Here 3 minus, it will be 3 minus 1 that will be 2, and because we have the square, we will use the square here. And here we have the 5, we have 3, 5 minus 2 means you will get the 3, will square, will add, and then we'll find the square root, then we will get the 3.61. But for Manhattan distance, what is this? So for that, there is no need of taking the square or this square root. So what you will do, you can find what is the difference between this one, 3 to 1, it is 2, and 5 minus 2, it is 3. So this simple distance will come, this will come under the Manhattan distance. There are other formats also, there are different other formula for measuring the distances, but for here, as of now, what we are discussing, we'll discuss here 2 only. So some distance formula property, you can say if ik, the distance between the object I and k, generally it will be greater than or equal to 0. Same object to same, or suppose I want to find the distance between x2 to x2, definitely it is 0. Okay, there is no difference whether I can take 3 minus 1 or 1 minus 3. That makes no difference. 2 minus 5 or 5 minus 2. So order may be that order doesn't defect order doesn't impact. So here you can see here, if we are is some certain in between some point is there, if you want to go the difference between this one, so we can break this distance, this one, then we can add, then we will go the less than or equal to the distance. So dij dik plus dkj, we can get this one. So this is the difference property of the distance formula. Next one is the ratio scaled way intervals. So it is a positive measurement on a non-linear. So you need to understand here. You need to know here it is non-linear scale. In the interval scaled variables, what we said, we discussed, that was the linear, roughly linear scales. Here the scale is non-linear, approximately an exponential scale, such as a and b is the constant value, t is the time. So a e to the power bt. So this one is the exponential value. Negative is also there. So so it will work like this. So for instance, this growth of a bacteria populations or decay of a radioactive elements, that can be represented by this formula using this scale. Like this time coronavirus is going, so the growth of corona or the number of patients is increasing in the country or in the world, they are not increasing in a linear way. They are not increasing in a linear way. They are increasing in some other non-linear way. It may be exponential or any other equation. 1 minute. Okay, so you are getting what I am telling to you all. Any confusion up to now? I discussed the type of data in clustering. So if you have the knowledge of the data, what is the type of data that I am going to handle for clustering, then it will be very easy to apply the methods. Okay. So in this, addition subtraction is allowed, but multiplication division is not allowed. Okay, now how I can compute the dissimilarity between the object described by the ratio scaled variables. If in my data set some variable is there, they are ratio scaled variables, then how I will find the dissimilarity? So for that we can treat the ratio scaled variable. If we convert this into the ratio scaled, then it is not a good idea. So we have the three ways: treat ratio scaled variables like interval scaled variables. This, however, is not usually a good choice because it is likely that the scale may be distorted. So this is not, we can go for this also, but this is not recommended because it will distort the scale. This we can do: apply logarithmic transformations to the ratio scaled variables. One thing we can do, we can we can convert the ratio scaled variable into the logarithmic form. We can use the transformation, and whatever value is there, using this formula like this: yif log xif, means whatever the value is there for particular that variable, that can be converted into in the log transformations. So the if value, it is not if value, means this is the indexing, can be treated as interval value. Now you can treat it as a interval value after the conversion of this logarithmic transformation. So treat xif, means xif element value is there as continuous ordinal data, and treat their ranks as interval values. So one more method is there, you can treat it as a continuous and ordinal data. Ordinal data, and give them the ranking as interval values. So you can handle this type of data like this. Next one is the very common, you know, the binary variables. So binary variables generally takes two types of values in the form of S or no, or 0 or 1. You can say it is a present or absent, a presence or absence. So like in gender, if I say two, there male and female, male and female, so like this. So two values are here. So this variable takes two variables only. So binary variables you already know, no need to discuss once again. The major discussion is the it's two varieties: symmetric and asymmetric binary variables. So what is asymmetric variable and symmetric variable? Symmetric variables are they are having the two states. No, that is not a different thing, but it will be called symmetric if they have the same weightage for both the outcomes, and there is no difference whether you represent male by 0 or female by 1, or you can also you can treat 1 and this, and you can represent f by 0. So it doesn't make any difference because both the weights are both the values, both binary variable states, they have the same weightage. So that type of binary variables are treated as the symmetric variables. And in asymmetric variables, the both the state doesn't have equal importance. So those asymmetric variables comes under this. So positive and negative, we can understand this with one example. Like if I say for disease, HIV test is there. So which one is having more weightage? So we have very rare case will be there for positive case, and the negative case will be more. So here for positive and for negative, the weights are different. We can't say positive as a negative. We can't convert it. Positive means infected with HIV, and not infected with the HIV. We said it is a negative. So like this convention we can use, but here it is we can interchange here. we can say 0 with the representation 0 or 1, 1 or 0 doesn't make any difference, but here make difference because meaning will be completely changed. So that is why it is called the asymmetric binary variables. Okay, so how the dissimilarity is measured in this binary, symmetric and asymmetric variables. So this is the formula. You can see one contingency table is there for binary variables. You can say, see here, what is the coding for this 1 0 and here 1 0. So what is this? This is case of 1 1. This is the case of 1 comma 0, and this is the case of 1. Okay, this is case of 0 comma 1, and this is the case of 0 comma 0. So what we do, this is comma 0 0 comma 0. So you can see here, for we create this type of contingency matrix. Based on the contingency matrix, we find the dissimilarity between the two objects. Suppose object I and j, I want to find that dissimilarity for symmetric binary variables. Symmetric binary variables means both the states 0 or 1, whatever is there, they have the equal importance or equal weightage. So for that I will use the formula r plus s, means this value will add this value and this value and divided by all q plus r plus s plus t. If we have the dissimilarity, we need to find the dissimilarity based on the asymmetric variables, then what we can do, we have the formula is same, just what we have to do, we have q plus r plus s plus t. So what is here, we have removed the last value, that is t. So this formula is for purpose of asymmetric. Okay, so one person, you please tell me, the presentation is visible, voice is clear or not?
Visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Voice is clear?
Yes, sir. Clear,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so now I will repeat once again what is the objective of learning these the topics. We are discussing to know the types of data that will be there for clustering. So purpose of this, if we are aware of the nature of the data, then we can apply the proper clustering techniques. Okay, for that we need to know. So we discuss the first we discuss the interval scaled, then ratio scaled, and after that I discuss the binary variables. In binary variables, two types, symmetric and asymmetric binary variables. Okay, next one. So this is the formula for calculating. Now whenever your data set is having some binary kind of things, then and you need to know whether it is a symmetric or not asymmetric. Based on that you choose the formula, you calculate the dissimilarity. Okay, next one is the nominal or categorical variables. I think in your Veka tool you have designed some data sets, na? You aware of this nominal or categorical variables. So nominal or synonymously we say sometimes categorical also. So what it has, it is not it is it is not numerical value, it is not having any numerical value, but it will be having some discrete, it will be having some labeled values. So a generalization of the binary variable in that it can take more than 2 states. In binary we have taken only 2 states. If we talk about this nominal categorical, the states will be more than 2. If I say color of, okay, color of particular thing, if I say dress code color, whatever, so red, yellow, blue, green, magenta, whatever, so color attribute may have these values in the table. sometimes red, yellow, blue. So this is nothing but this is the categorical value. This is the categorical value. So now the question comes, if I am having the categorical value for classification, it was okay. But what is the what will happen if I am going to deal with the categorical variables in clustering? So in clustering, we do the clustering based on the similarity, based on the dissimilarity. Similar items are kept into the single group. So for that, one important thing is to know the similarity between the two objects or dissimilarity between the two objects. Based on that, we will group. So for that, if the items are if the variable is having the categorical or nominal value, so then we will find the dissimilarity between two objects I and j. How? We will write p minus m divided by, this is whole one thing, this is p minus m divided by p. This is the formula that we use. M is the number of matches. M is the number of matches between two objects, and next one, p is the total number of variables that we have. P is the total number of variables and m is the number of matches. So we can find this one, p minus m divided by t. So we can find the dissimilarity between the object I and object j. Now I think it is clear how to deal with the nominal or categorical data. You note this formula now? T I comma j is equal to
Yes,
P.
sir.
It is very simple. Okay, so see, if I include now calculations also, the slide and presentation, this will be very lengthy and it will be very complex for you also. That's why I have not included the formula, and the class will continue for this topic only for 2 or 3 lectures. That's why I did not included a numerical part. But in your book that we are following for this purpose, that Han and Camber, that data mining concepts and techniques, from that everything concept we are taking. So in there the solution is also there. You can see how to calculate Dij. If anybody is interested separately, I can tell, but for this time I am not discussing, not going into the numerical parts. Formula I am telling. Okay, so next one is the ordinal variables. Anybody you know what is the ordinal variable? Any person? Jasri? Any person, can you answer what is ordinal?
Hello, sir.
Yes, any person, you tell me what is ordinal variable? Ordinal. Any person? Because I don't remember everyone's name, so whatever name comes I tell. Farooq? What is ordinal variable or ordinal values? Kashmir is there? Vani?
Categorical values, sir.
Categorical means not categorical, ordinal. What is the difference between the ordinal and categorical? Ordinal, yeah, nobody. See, you need to know about these data types. Yasoda is there? Yasoda? No. Everybody is sleeping. Nobody is answering. You can write in the chat box also if you know, if you are not able to speak. Tulsi? Tulsi is there? If you are not able to speak, you can write. Okay, let's see. Nominal with this. Yeah, who is going to tell?
Arif sir.
Yeah.
What I know, I will tell that's all, sir. Sir, it is just like categorical output, sir,
Okay.
where we can form like a hierarchical structure. Suppose the values must be discrete like tree, subtree, like that will form, no, like that ordinal data.
See, if you can, okay, I will explain. Okay, very good. Next, you can see here ordinal variables. What is the ordinal variables? See, this is also similar to the categorical. There is no, but very distinguishing feature is that it has at its names. You can guess from name also. Ordinals. Ordinals means order. Okay. This name comes from the order. Ordinal variables. Ordinal variables, it is similar to the categorical. Categorical means it will be having the categorical value like discrete values like red, blue color. If I say male, female, and transgender like that. Whether you can say it is whether hot, it is warm like that. There are different variables like that, but in ordinal there will be some order. There will be order. There will be ranking. It is so. What is this? It is similar to categorical, but it will follow some order. If I say assistant professor, professor, and assistant professor, associate professor, and then I say professor, is there any ordering? Definitely there is an ordering. So professor will be having more priority, and assistant professor will have the less priority, and in between the associate professor. If I say the student performance in divisions, division first, second, third, fourth, they follow some certain order. They are categorical also. You can observe this is a categorical. We are writing in the categorical values, but it is also following some certain order. If I say ranking in the army, ranking is there, na? There also. In naval, air force, or you can say in the army, there is some ranking about the designation ranking. So this is nothing but these are the different examples of the ordinal variables. Okay. So you understood what is ordinal variable? It is just like a categorical, but it has some meaningful order. It may be descending or it may be the ascending. So it will be having a sequential order in a meaningful sequence. If order is not there, then the effect will not be there. So for handling the ordinal variables, we have some methods. How are ordinal variables handled? The treatment of ordinal variable is quite similar to the that of the interval scaled variables that we already discussed. We'll take that also. So when continuing the dissimilarity between the objects, f variable from a set of ordinal variables describing n objects, the dissimilarity computation to f involves the following steps. You can see here. If value of f for ith objects xif, you can find here order states. So what we can do here, if I am having the categorical value which is having in some certain order, so like you can say I am having assistant professor, associate professor, okay, associate professor, and then professor. So you can assign some value, priority value 1, for associate you can say 2, and for assistant you can make 3. So these three values I have assigned. Now this one is converted into numerical values. So for that, what we do, we use this formula to find this. So same thing, we did ranking, we did. So what we replace, order state representing the ranking. Ranking we did 1 to MF. See 1, 2, 3, because I am having only three, na? Three well categorical values, that's ordinal values. That's why I have taken 1, 2, and 3. So it will be there, and replace each xi by its corresponding ranks, ri, rif. So since each ordinal variables can have different numbers of states, so it is often necessary to map the range for each variable onto the 0 to 1. So here the value need to be fall in some range. So 0 to 1 I have fixed the value. So for that, what we can do, we can use this formula similar to the Z score that we calculated, is like that. So what we'll do, MF value we will write -1 here, IF -1. So we, for any variables, suppose for professor I want to pick, I can pick here professor. So how many MF is there? 3. 3 minus 1, and here you can write for professor, what is that? Professor 1. So the value will be 1 minus 1 divided by M. How is M? 3. So 3 minus 1. So you will get 0. So for professor, the Z value will be 0. So if I say for associate professor, this will be 2. So 2 minus 1, that is 1. And 3 minus 1, this will be 2. So it will come, the value will be for associate professor, it will come 0.5. And for assistant professor, you can write here, what you will write? It will be 3 minus 1 divided by 3 minus 1. So you will get only one value. So we have now discretized the value. We can represent 0, 0 and 0.5 and 1. So this will be the dissimilarities value for the particular objects. Okay, like this we can do. Next one. So dissimilarity. So this will come under the dissimilarity. We can. Yeah, my time is over. Hold. At 1 minute. What is the time now? 12:10. Okay, in 3 minutes I will. 61 persons are available. Who is not available for attendance purpose? Farooq, Yashoda, are you there? 62 persons means 61 persons are there. Yeah, 62 persons out of, if I exclude myself, then 61%. Who are not present here? Farooq, you make that, otherwise I will take the snaps. Don't go anybody out of this, because I will take the snaps.
Okay, sir. I will send WhatsApp, sir.
Huh? What?
I will send an absent, sir. Absent is WhatsApp.
Okay. You send me, huh? But without
Thank
delay.
you, sir.
Okay, 1 minute. You see here. So ordinal variables, you understood. Ordinal means it will follow some order, and you can use this formula. Last one is the variable of mixed types. Means mixed types means all the 6 types of variables that will be part of your data sets. So your data set is having, generally whatever clustering we are doing, generally in the clustering, it is very rare that we'll having one type of variables. So generally when we go for the real life example for clustering, we get the variables of mixed data types. So what we do, we are combining all those features, whatever we discussed now, we will combine all those features to address the variables of mixed types. So we have the D dissimilarity, we have the delta. Delta will tell the type of see here 0, Dij is equal to 0 if both the if and jf is equal, like this, otherwise 1. So like this we can find certain format, so that format will be handled. Okay, I will repeat once again. So what we discussed today, we discussed about the type of data in cluster analysis, and this is categorized as this is categorized as interval scaled, ratio scaled, binary, in binary, symmetric and asymmetric, later on nominal or categorical, and after categorical we learned about the ordinal, and then after variable of mixed type. So these different types of variable data types are there, variable value that will be there in the clustering. So we understood these many types, and two data structures that we how we'll represent the data into the memory, so that we can perform the clustering. First one is the variable by object by variables, that is n cross p matrix, in the form of that we call the data matrix. And next one is the dissimilarity matrix. In this dissimilarity matrix we will we represent the dissimilarity values between two objects. Okay, thank you for today. We'll meet in the next class again. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, for
Thanks, sir.
attendance.
Thanks, sir.